live stream. I'm so excited to be here with you today. It is May 10th. And if you guys don't know, about 10 years ago, we came up with the Jolly Bar. And the Jolly Bar is exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop. It's a 5 by 10 inch set of fabrics. It's basically double of a charm pack and half of a layer cake. So we have a packed stream. And we have a ton of stuff. Now remember, if you start this later, you can replay it. If I go too fast, you can always replay it and slow it down. Now our most recent free Jolly Bar pattern is Jolly Bar Jig. It's super fun, it's super cute, and so I thought that would be a great one to do live. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of show you my tips and how I would sew it at home. Now, obviously it's up to you how you wanna do it. And from there, we can decide if you want me to sew the borders and the sashing or if you want me to stop. Either way is totally fine with me. After I sew, we have a Jolly Bar 5 quilts to show. So we did a Jolly Bar 5 quilt tour where 8 different designers, bloggers, took a quilt from the Jolly Bar 5 book and made it. After that, we have an announcement on a sampler we're going to be making from the Jolly Bar 5 book. So I do want to show you, we have 5 Jolly Bar books. So we have the Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5. Now, if you buy all 5 of those, you get 100 patterns and they come out to about $4.50 each. Now, one thing I want you to think about with the Jolly Bar book is if you have this book, but you don't have a Jolly Bar, you can use a layer cake and then just save your leftovers for something else. So always be flexible and just remember, you know, or if you have a fat quarter bundle you love, you can cut it down into a Jolly Bar. You don't always have to buy a Jolly Bar. Now today on our blog, which is the Jolly Jabber, we did a roundup of 5 Jolly Bar projects you can sew in a day. So if you're not interested in doing any of these quilts or these, you can do that. You can also go to our YouTube channel and type Jolly Bar shortcut and you will find free patterns. Now, the best thing about this day is we're calling it a national holiday. Obviously, I think it's pretty easy. You can just register anything as a national holiday if you guys didn't know. And we are offering 25% off Jolly Bars. The code is JBDay25. And so today is May 10th. It lasts all day today, all day Sunday, and it ends at midnight Central Standard Time. Now, Jordan put in the bottom right of your screen a QR code. The reason he did that is we looked up what percentage of people watch this live stream on a TV. I think it was 51%. So if you're sitting in your bed or your chair watching, you can just click that QR code. It's going to take you straight to the Jolly Bar page. If you're watching on your phone, you can just go to the description box and find it. Or you can just go to fatquartershop.com and type Jolly Bar. And then one more announcement, and then we can get into sewing. I'm really excited about sewing. I always love sewing with you guys. We're doing a giveaway throughout this stream. Now, we're going to give away a Fat Quarter Shop gift card and a signed copy of the Jolly Bar 5 book every 20 minutes. And the increment is going to go up as it goes. So the longer the stream, the more winners. And then once you win, I'm going to sign it personally, and we will mail this out to you this week. And so excited. So we have a lot going on. We have a coupon for 25% off, which is a great coupon. We've got giveaways, and we've got tips from Kimberly. So that's super exciting. So let's start sewing, and let's kind of talk about what I'm going to be sewing today. So the Jolly Bar jig pattern is here. And anytime I'm going to start a project, I start before I sew, if possible, and write everything down so that if I don't finish today, for example, if you guys vote that you don't want me to do the sashing and the border, then I will have something to come back to.
Kimberly, I'm starting the timer for the first giveaway.
Okay. So we're starting the timer for the first giveaway. And it's every 20 minutes. And I'm going to make this one just the normal size that's on the first page. There is a second size on the third page. So the first one is 36 by 46, and if you want to make it larger, it's 49 by 68, and that would require 2 Jolly Bars. Now to get this free pattern, you just go to our website, type Jolly Bar Jig, and you click a button and you download the PDF. Super easy. Now this one I am going to be sewing in the Cottage Charm collection by My So Quilty Life for Moda. I love her stuff. I've been collecting all of her fabrics. It's a Jolly Bar quilt. And then, okay, so I'm starting with 1 Jolly Bar. And you know, if you don't want to, these are Lori Holt papers. If you don't want to do this, I would just encourage you, you could just get a 3-ring binder with lined paper. You could just write it down on a index card. You can do anything, but I do find that I am very forgetful. So just having something is very helpful. Now I do want to show you, this calls for 3/4 of a yard background. That requires you to piece the borders. I never, ever, ever piece a border. So I'm going to use 1 1/4 yards instead, and I'm using Bella Solids 9900-200. I'm going to show you that fabric in a second. My binding is 3175735, and I usually write a note what my binding is, just so that I remember that is my binding. My backing, I picked, I'll show it to you, it is a kind of like a floral.
When you're done for the giveaway, just tell people they just have to stay active in chat.
Oh,
That's
yes.
That's how they get selected.
So to be selected for the giveaway, the more you post in chat, the more chances you have to win, because it's based on like your participation. So, and you can ask questions, you know, we will get to those. I guess we're going to kind of just start off and have fun sewing, and then we'll get to that. But I think this is enough to start. And I'm going to show you my fabric. Now, we did write this pattern where you can starch, because Kimberly Jolly does nothing without starching. So here's my fabric all prepared. And so here's my Jolly Bar of Cottage Charm. It's just really nice colors. They're really soft and muted, and you know, I love it. This is 9900-200. Now, what I will tell you is I keep a bolt of several Bella Solids in my house. So I cut this off of that. I will have a lot left over. So what I do when I'm done is whatever's left over, I wrap it around the bolt and put a pin. So like pretend this is your bolt, put a pin here and a pin here. So nothing is wasted. So even though I buy more, I save that leftover for the next project. This is my binding, and this is my backing. And on my binding, I'm probably, when I cut this, I'm gonna cut it where I start and stop that stripe at the same spot, or else if you don't do that, you're gonna have a funky looking binding. So just pro tip for that. Okay, so the first set is you're going to take 16 prints for fabric A and 16 prints for fabric B. So I'm going to do this totally random. I'm obviously going to take the white on white out. Now, the Jolly Bar, once you starch it, will come out about 5. This one's actually 5 by 10. This one actually came out exactly 5 by 10, so this one didn't shrink as much. And I really don't, me and Denise and George, we don't know why. Some Jolly Bars shrink more than others. This one barely shrank, so we really didn't even need to worry about that. But what I'm going to do is try to do a mix of colors, and I'm going to put 20 here and 20 here. No, 16 and 16. And I'm just going to do a mix, and then once I'm done, I'm going to remove stuff. I am not ready for Emma's graduation. Well, actually, I'm ready, but I just don't know how much I'm going to cry. It's going to be a tearful mess. Okay, now, I don't like purple, so we got to take the purple out. I know. Y'all can keep the purple in. You do you. But what I'm doing is I'm doing by color, so there'll be an even amount on the different sections, and then I will remove after.
We got some questions with starch. Do you have to starch?
You do not have to starch. You do not. The pattern works either way. And I use Faultless. This is what I use. I'm not affiliated with this company in any way. It's just Niagara Original Finish. I can tell you that I do understand that starching prices have gone up. If you join Kimberly's Stitch Squad, some people have linked to some different places that you can maybe buy it like wholesale or in bulk. So I would, I just encourage you to look at that if you're interested. And this is my favorite part. I love to cut. Sewing, I could care less. I could just cut quilts all day, every day.
Why do you starch?
I starch because if you take a fabric that's not starched, it's just not very stiff. And starch, you see it's stiff. And so when you're sewing, it's not going to stretch as much. And if you don't pin, it's going to be less likely to move. I'm going to show you a fabric that isn't starched.
These are both the same print. One's starched, one's not.
This is.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Okay, so these are just examples of fabrics that are starched versus not starched. And I think you'll be able to tell. See how one is very wavy and one is very starched. For me, starching is just something I love to do. I learned it from Lisa Bonjean probably 10 years ago. And I do have a pro tip for you that she taught me recently. When you're starching with this starch, there's this little red dot. Okay, it's right there. Can you zoom in, Jordan? Sorry. There's this dot. And if you take the nozzle and you put the nozzle right where that red dot is, all of the starch will come out. If you don't, you're going to leave starch in the can. So that's another way to save money. This one is a duplicate, so I'm probably going to take that one out. We'll see how many I need. And I probably, to be honest, I probably spend way too much time doing this layout of fabric, if you want to know the truth. But it's my favorite part. And, when I'm done, usually I'm like, oh, it really didn't make a difference. This is duplicate. I'm going to take it out. And some Jolly Bars have more duplicates than others. It depends how big the collection is to start with. And then Moda picks the ones that are the duplicates. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one out. And there's a lot of these two, so if I take this one out, I already have that look here. So that's 16. And then Oh, 16. Okay, I need to take one out. I'm always going to take a background out before I take anything else out.
Kimberly, repeat what fabric you're using.
The fabric I'm using today is Cottage Charm by My So Quilty Life.
Are Jolly Bars only made by Moda?
Okay, we do Jolly Bars with Moda and Lori Holt, and that is it. And it's just a decision we've made as a business, and we have to order a set minimum to get to, so we only buy them on our groups that are going to be the very best groups, and that is based on customer sales. So, you know, you might say, oh, I want a Jolly Bar in this. Well, if it's not a good seller, we can't buy it because we cannot sell that quantity. You could definitely do this with a darker background, and my background is just a Bella Solid. It has no design. Okay, I'm counting again. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for my A's, I'm going to cut. Oh, we're cutting both of them the same size. We're just using them differently. So I'm going to cut 4.5 by 9.5 inch rectangles on all of these. And what I do, I just pick, I want to have a 4.5 inch ruler. So these two are 4.5, this is 3.5, 4.5. But I need one that's big enough. So I'm going to go with this one because it's big enough. It's not exactly 4.5 by 9.5, which would be lovely, but it's not. And we did get our shipment of the 1.5 by 2.5 inch brand new Creative Grids rulers. Now, if I have a print like this, that's going to go on top because if you cut this crooked, it's going to be obvious. I'm going to do 4 at a time. Now, at home, I usually do 5 at a time, but I should probably be conservative. So since this is a 4.5 inch ruler, I just make sure I have an overhang on the top and the bottom, and that if I cut here, I have enough cut that I can cut here. And this is one of those quilts where I'm just gonna drop the stuff on the floor. Sorry, Jordan. He's smiling. He's smiling at me. I'm not sure if that's a happy smile or a smart ass smile. Oops. I didn't say that. Okay.
How is Piggy doing?
Oh my gosh, Piggy is so good. He got a bath yesterday, so he smells so good. And he's always very well behaved when he has a bath because I think it calms him down. But he smells good. They didn't give him a bandana though, so I was like, oh, poor Piggy. Or he took it off, I'm not sure which, before I got home.
What mat are you using?
Okay, these are our brand new Kimberly cut mats. They come in 4 sizes. This is a 9.5 inch. It also comes in a 5.5 and a 12.5. And I like them because I'm tall and it raises the fabric up, and so it just kind of gives me a little bit of height. So that's why I like using them. And since it's aqua, you can usually see the fabric's pretty good. Sometimes with the gray mat, it's hard to see the fabrics for some reason. At home, I have a pink and aqua mat. Well, one side is pink and one side is aqua for that reason.
Are there any other colors for the mats?
They're only this color, And this is a product where we have to buy in huge mass quantities. So I would love to have like 10 colors, but we go bankrupt because you have to buy so many. We have to buy like, I mean, it'll take us years to get rid of or to sell all of them. It's just kind of the nature of manufacturing.
Do they rotate?
Okay, they rotate. And I know I drive y'all crazy, but let me show you how you rotate it. Now, I prefer to shift it. That's just my preference. But you can rotate. That's what you're supposed to do. And it's not hard to do. I just usually don't. I think, you know, it takes longer. But they do turn well. I can show you. Well, I better not. Let me show you the bottom of. They come like this, and it's two pieces. You don't want them to come apart, but this is how it rotates. Okay, 9.5. How
did you come up with the idea for the Jolly Bar?
So to come up with the idea for the Jolly Bar, I remember exactly where I was. I just always want Fat Quarter Shop to be different. I want you, when I created Fat Quarter Shop, I created it based on, I want, when you come to Fat Quarter Shop, for you to have a great shopping experience and for you to get great customer service. But I also want you to come here to get something that maybe some other stores don't have. That's called being competitive and just being original. And I love charm packs and layer cakes. You might know I'm not a fan of jelly rolls. Now, jelly rolls sell great. I just find them to be a little finicky. Okay, so anything rectangular is so fun to starch. In fact, before I came here this morning, I starched 5 charm packs before I came, because when I get home tonight, I'm going to be making some woven star blocks. And then I'm going to be working on a new sew along and working on making reels for that sew along. And they're going to be pretty big blocks. So Peyton's here with me. We're going to have to go get some sugar. I was thinking of seeing if he wanted to go to Texas Roadhouse for lunch. Okay, so that's my first stack.
A couple questions came in regarding why are you trimming, and if you could just use the Jolly Bar at the 5x10 size to make this quilt.
Okay, so you can do that, and you can actually adjust the pattern and do that. They never are exactly 5x10, and I like my work to be very precise. So it's a personal preference. If you want to work with 5x10 and just go with that, you can. But like if you look at this, for example, that is a 1/4 inch difference. It's the nature of pre-cuts. If you get a jelly roll, it's going to be the same way. And I only enjoy sewing if it's going to come out pretty, straight, pretty exact. Now, somebody asked what time I got up this morning. I got up my son had to leave at 6:15 for 3 basketball games, which I'm missing. But his grandparents and aunt are there, so he should be fine. And I got up about 7, and I was ready to go. And then I went up. I had to go upstairs 3 times to get Peyton up. I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to get up. He's here. He's going to help do hold the quilts. And then we'll go to a fun lunch. The 6-inch woven star paper should be in stock soon. We asked the printer to rush those. So we're paying, I don't know if we're paying a rush fee, but it should be soon. We basically moved them in our production line to quicker. My go-to rulers that I have out are my Creative Grid square rulers, and then anything that's a rectangular or square ruler that's Creative Grids I own. Now, any of their triangle rulers, I might or might not own those because obviously I'm not a big fan of that. Lori Holt has a lot of paper, so I'm not sure which paper pad you're talking about, Judy, but you can give me like a hint. But Creative Grids is the only brand I use. One thing I would recommend, now I don't know how true this is.
It's the timer.
Ha ha, Peyton's laughing at Denise. So, what I've always heard is whenever you're making a quilt, use the same brand, whatever brand that is. Now, I have no idea if it's going to make that big of a difference. That's just something that I've always heard. And I just prefer Creative Grids. It's what I learned on years ago. Are we close to the 20 minutes? So you guys start commenting because...
No, that was the timer.
Oh, that was the timer. Duh. Okay, that timer was for the winner. So Denise and Jordan are going through and doing that, and then I'll be ready to sign the book. I didn't know that was the timer. I should have known.
Kimberly, I'm gonna type the name for you.
Okay, and then you're gonna bring me the book.
Yeah. I have the quotes and
It's a good segue too, because I'm almost done cutting. Yeah, and then I had a nephew graduate Thursday with the master's in aerospace engineering, and then my other nephew, I have two nephews, the other one is graduating next weekend with a finance degree from Lehigh University, so I'm going to be in Pennsylvania next weekend. Okay.
that is the winner.
Okay, so I'm about to sign the winner. So our winner is Brenda Shamagaras. I'm just Zumigras. $30.
And then for them to email me for the shipping address.
So you need to email Denise, DENISE, at fatquartershop.com. And then she can get these mailed out. Obviously not today. And then we'll fill out the rest. Okay,
Yes.
so we got to find a place to put it. I'll put it right. Do you think right here, Denise?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you're signing, I just want to mention for the giveaway, as long as you post every 10 minutes, you'll be considered. So you don't have to post every, 10 seconds or every minute. You can sew, you can do what you're doing on your Saturday, but as long as you make a post within 10 minutes, you'll be included for the giveaway.
Jordan said don't spam chat. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Oh, and then I'll put the gift certificate with it. Thank you, Brenda.
So the next one would be at 40.
The next one's going to be at 40, and then it'll be when you hear that little ding ding. Okay, so then we're going to take I'm going to take okay, this is something I do to save time. So I need 8 pairs of 2. So I'm going to do this, and the reason I'm going to do this is I don't want to put 2 yellows next to each other. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So then I'm going to put another color below it. one. And just make sure that the color, like these two would go together, that they're different colors and different patterns. And by the end of it, you'll realize it really doesn't matter, but that's just the way my brain works. And so that, luckily, they are all different. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do one of them, and then I'm going to mass produce the others. What I'm going to be doing is sewing, and I am going to pin. It seems weird, but we're going to sew 1/4 inch on both sides. So we kind of have a tube now, which is kind of funny. Then we're going to cut this 2 1/4 away from either side. Because either side, that's 2 1/4, this is 2 1/4, and then we're just going to press. It does not matter which way you press. I'm going to just go ahead and leave these here. And I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm just going to sew together real fast. Is this mic on? Mm-hmm. And then I want to thank Jocelyn because she came up with this. She's very creative. And when we first saw it, we were like, I don't understand. And I'm just using RFL 2000, but I would just say with this type of fabric, I just like to use 100% cotton and a light color. And then you'll just want to mark your calendar for every May 10th, we'll do one of these videos. And here I'm actually not pinning because the board is flat enough where I don't think it's going to move. Now I did check before we started to make sure I have a full bobbin. So we'll see if that bobbin lasts for this entire quilt. We'll see. The pins that I prefer are the little house pins. There's several colorways, or just something super thin.
Do you use a true 1/4 inch seam or a scant?
Oh, I use a true 1/4 inch seam. And I use this foot where the fabric just butts up right against it so I can just go super fast. Now, a lot of people use a scant 1/4 inch. I just find that it doesn't, my stuff comes out the wrong size. using that. So it's up to you. And also trimming this down, another reason that's great for the Jolly Bar is it takes all those little jagged edges off, which makes your piecing more accurate. Which is one of the reasons I don't love working with jelly rolls, because there's so many jagged edges.
If someone wants a 1/4-inch foot for their Juki, where can they buy one?
I would go to Juki Junkies and we'll try to find a link to this exact one. This is, I'm not sure if it's a Juki foot, but it is not the one that comes with the machine. The one that comes with the machine is actually in centimeters. Okay, so you're gonna think this is weird, but as I cut them, I'm gonna put them on different sections because they're gonna go in different rows. So the number we're going with today is 2 1/4. What is great about using this ruler is it's a 4.5-inch ruler. And on the Creative Grid square and rectangles, they take the half measurement and make a white line. So my white line happens to be 2 1/4. Thank you for asking the questions, Denise.
The chat's going fast. So.
Chat's going fast. But I'm so excited. Okay, how many are in here today?
I want to say 2,000.
2,245.
Yay, I'm so honored you're here. It's a great way to spend a Saturday. It kind of forces me to sew, right? I mean, who doesn't want to sew on a Saturday? Who doesn't want to spend their Saturday sewing?
What stitch length do you use?
I use a 1.4. For most people, I do not recommend that because it is almost impossible to pull those stitches out. But because I rarely pull stitches out, I prefer it. Also because I press open a lot, it weakens the seam. And so that's just what I do, but I don't think it's always the best idea for a beginner. And like I said, we're gonna go press this, and I'm keeping them in 2 stacks because these will all go in different rows so that I don't have the same fabrics in each row. And I'm just gonna set the seam, which means put the iron on it. I'm gonna push it open, I'm gonna finger press it, and then I'm gonna iron right on that crease. And I probably won't talk during that because that iron is loud and it probably will be hard to hear what I'm saying. Thank you to Donna Mateo for the super chat. Another thing I do is I stack. So watch how I stack my fabrics because once I stack, it kind of reinforces the ones below it. I do want to mention this is a quilt you can do in a couple of hours for the quilt top, and it's a great gift for maybe a housewarming or baby quilt or picnic quilt. Luvella asks, is there ever a situation where pressing open is not okay? So I would say if you're pressing open and you have a long stitch, your stitches are going to come out. I have run across long arm quilters who will not quilt, some with open seams, And if you are going to stitch in the ditch when you're quilting, and that means you would be stitching the batting, the top, and the backing together and putting your needle right here on that seam. If it's open, it's going to break that seam.
Do you always use steam?
I always use seam. I always use starch. That's like a no-brainer. If I had to make a quilt without starch, I just wouldn't do it. And if I had to make a quilt with no seam, I just wouldn't do it. I'm kind of set in my ways. My favorite Jolly Bar pattern is probably this one because it's easy, it's cute, and you're gonna see how it looks harder than it is. And I use 50 weight for piecing. Some people use 40. 40 is thinner, so it's up to you. Okay. So this is going to seem crazy to you guys, and that's the iron I'm using in the bottom right. That's what I use at home and here. Now we're ready to do our rows. So for each row, you need 4 B's and 4 A's. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. This is how random I do it. 4. But you see this one won't be in the same. I'll probably go this way. So they're opposite. And they won't stay in this order, but it's just a way to be random. And then I need 4 of the solids. So here's my solids.
We got a couple of questions regarding your rulers, like what's your go-to, your favorite sizes.
Really hard question to ask because I use all of these. So I use all the way from 7.5, 6.5, 5.5, 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, 1.5. Then I use these really small ones. I use the 6.5 by 12.5 a lot. I also use the 4.5 by 18.5 inch a lot, and I use the 6.5 by 24 and the 8.5 by 24. But I've been quilting for, 25 years. I did not buy all of my rulers at one time. I collect them over the years. You know, obviously I wouldn't say, oh, go buy all these rulers. That would just be crazy. And I'm kind of looking at the colors and just making sure like this didn't have blue, so I added blue, just kind of mixing my colors so that when this is already in there, I probably won't do that. I'm just kind of pre-gaming, let's call it that. And just hoping to have a mix. And like I said, in the end, it probably does not matter. But, you know, I do want to have a spread of blue throughout. There's not as many blueprints. So, you know, I don't want to have like blue all in one row. Like this one. I'm going to move this and this. Oh, there's a lot of light. So there's too much light in this row. So I'm going to move one here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do one row at a time. And I am going to keep them in order. So once I do this, I'll mark this with a number 4 alphabety, a number 3 alphabety, etc. So 4, 3, 2. Okay, so this basically, if you look at it, you're putting a solid, You're putting a rectangle next to a piece. A rectangle next to a piece. 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 2 together, and then we'll come back after that. I picked Bella 200 versus porcelain because I already have a bolt of color 200 at home. I just love color 200.
It's also a super chat.
Oh, it's a super chat. Thank you for Tony. I'm not sure which color porcelain is off the top of my head, but I think that might be 60. And then thank you from Tammy for the super chat.
182.
Oh, porcelain is 182.
How often do you change your needle for your sewing machine?
Oh gosh, every 8 hours or so. Whenever it starts unthreading, that's when you definitely need to re-thread it. I do buy my needles in bulk, and I do wait for the Schmetz 20% off sale that we do monthly once a year to buy them. So I'm just going to press this. I do only use Creative Grid. Thank you to Lene Reese for the super chat. Thank you to Christy Lavelle for the super chat. Thank you for all you do for your customers. You're sewing a jig, but can you dance a jig? I might, and Jordan definitely can. If y'all want to join and be a member, y'all can actually see Jordan. He accidentally got in the camera this week when we did a video. We did a members only, and he forgot that we were live, and he went and got himself in there. Do you have a 4, 3, and 2? Super alpha bitty?
Yes.
Sorry, you're like, what? Okay, so then I'm just gonna sew these together. $5 from Kathy W, thank you. Oh, time for a winner.
Do you need one?
Yes.
I have the pen and paper. Hold on, I'll be there in a second.
After I iron it, I will do the gift card. Don't worry. We've already picked the winner, but. And here you're just touching your non-pieced with your pieced. So like your skinnies with your fats. Okay, so I have all of these done. I'm going to show you how to iron this and still get that nice seam. You want to lay your iron flat, press. pull it down to the next one. So this is row 4. I'm going to put an alphabet on it. And then, okay, let's see the winner. The winner is Susie Nelson. Email Denise at Fat Quarter Shop with your mailing address. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm going to sign it right here. I have the messiest handwriting. I'm so sorry. Thank you to Matt Cox from Idaho. Thank you for all the inspiration. Thank you for shopping with us. And then thank you to Carol Getz. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for everything. I've learned so much from you. Do I watch other people's videos like Lori? Well, of course I watch Lori. I don't really watch any other quilting videos because I don't want to ever accidentally, like, you know, just use somebody else's ideas. So I'm very careful about that.
The next amount for the gift certificate is $50.
There you go. Did y'all hear that? Let's see. Okay, that looks good. And this is how I would sew at home. Just like I try to have a system and I just try to be very efficient with my time. You could chain piece these together at this point. I tend to not because the piece is so long. I don't want it to bunch up in the back. Oh my gosh, this fabric is so cute. And I do want to remind everybody that we are raising money for Make-A-Wish. So if you would like to donate to the Make-A-Wish campaign at Fat Quarter Shop, that is on our website. Do I starch the entire? Yes, I do. I starch the entire pieces and I dry them all at once. And that's why before I left this morning, I starched those 5 charm packs so that when I go home, I can do a couple of blocks and then do some reels. Thank you from Faree Pabich. Thank you for a super day. Thank you. I'm so honored that you guys watch, and thank you to Denise and Jordan for coming to work on a Saturday. And I'm just gonna put these, I'm trying to not be so particular. It's really hard for me. So then I can just sew. And honestly, if you sew these out of order, like nobody's gonna know but you. Up. So I went too fast and that's one hazard of sewing fast. Your thread will come undone more frequently. And some fancy machines do have like a counter where they count the number of stitches you're doing. So I guess if you had one of those fancy machines, you could figure out, you know, how many stitches you think a needle lasts and do that. My machine does not do that, I will tell you that.
When you can, will you repeat your fabric line?
The fabric collection I'm using today is Cottage Garden, Cottage Charm by My So Quilty Life and Moda Fabrics, and the Bella Solid I'm using is color 200. And keep asking your questions. If I don't know the answer off the top of my head, I will get to it. It's in my book over there. Okay. So this is row 3.
At some point, if you can just go over the size of the quilt,
Yes.
like everything you wrote down on your binder page, essentially, like your background, binding, backing. Oh, it's underneath here.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So for this quilt, there are 2 sizes. The first size is 34 by 46. That is what I'm sewing today. There's also a free pattern for a 49 by 68 that uses 2 jolly bars. That's on page 3. I am using 1 Cottage Charm jolly bar. I'm using 1 1/4 yards of 9900 color 200. I just prefer that. I just really like that color a lot. I feel like it works with all kinds of things. My binding is 3175735, and my backing is 3175011. And looking at this, I think I'm gonna have the binding done on the bias or something, because sometimes it doesn't come out. Sometimes checks are hard to do. And the Jolly Bar Jig pattern you get at fatquartershop.com. You just search Jolly Bar Jig. It's free. You click and it'll be right there for you. Okay. And if I was at home, I mean, you could like do all of these at one time by putting this on your board and then just doing all of them. I just don't want to get like too ahead of myself here.
Someone asked, how do you remember all the SKUs?
Denise tells me. Actually, like when I first buy the fabric, we have these catalogs, and so I will make notes during our fabric meetings about what I like, what I think I want to do, and we have like a little system where I can go see all the yardage before it comes in, or I just go to the manufacturer's website, and I do that because in a couple years, Fat Quarter Shop's gonna be sold out of this, but you might find it on Etsy or eBay, or if I ever want to get back to that fabric, I don't just shop at Fat Quarter Shop. I always want to be able to get back to something. I just think it's great to have a record. So you guys can comment and let me know what collection you're going to sew this with, and I can read out the collection names. And if you want to make this and there's not a Jolly Bar, you can just buy a layer cake and cut it down. Alpha Bitties are not sticky on the back. I would use you could just tape them if you wanted, or I would just use a clip, one of the bigger Wonder Clips to clip it down. My favorite design board for cross stitch is the 7 and 10 inches, and then my favorite for this is the 14. Yeah, that's 14.
How many boards would you use or are you using for this physical project?
For this quilt, I'm using the same board for each one. If I was at home, I would use 4 because I would go faster. I would do all the boards sewing at one time, all the boards ironing at one time, etc. How do I stand and sew? I don't. Okay, I'm sitting down when I sew. I'm standing when I iron. This one has a lot of blue, but that's okay. So now, like right now, I'm sitting. And when you starch, you'll see that these fabrics kind of stick together, so you don't have to pin as often. And June is our 22nd anniversary, so we're going to be having live streams every Friday in the month of June. What was the worst mistake I made in quilting? I don't know. Oh, I do know. My nephew who just graduated college yesterday or 2 days ago with his master's. When he was like 1 year old, so he's 20, probably 24 years ago. It was before he was my nephew. I was dating Kevin at the time. I was not married to him, so he wasn't not my nephew at the time, but I bought this fabric from a local quilt store, and the quilt store was kind of mean to me, like in terms of, they were just rude. And so I was too scared to ask them questions, so I bought this marking pen at Joann's, and it was black. And I did a stack and whack, which I don't know if you guys remember what a stack and whack is, but that was all the rage a long time ago. And so I did a stack and whack, and I used that black pen, and I thought, well, I'll just put it in the washer after I quilted and it'll come out. Well, it didn't. So I made that entire stack and whack, which was not easy. And I remember it was like Humpty Dumpty fabric, but it's okay. He doesn't know. I made something else. But that was a long time ago. But that was because I was so intimidated to ask questions. So that's why I think YouTube is great now, because you can go to different channels, you can see different styles, you can see what you like, what you don't. What's also great about YouTube is you can ask a question, and one store might give you one answer and one store might give you another, and you can decide what works best for you in your sewing room. Because remember, you're the boss of your own quilt, and do what works for you. There's no quilt police. You just do whatever you want to do. Thank you to Bridget Ashley for the super chat. I have not used pre-wound bobbins. We do sell them. And I know that Ann Sutton of Bunny Hill Designs does use them. The benefits of becoming a member are you get a monthly coupon. It's always a good coupon once a month. And we do one live stream, like behind the scenes, probably a month if we can. a quarterly Q&A. And on those quarterly Q&As, I mean, on any video, I do try to answer all of your questions. I really do. I don't try to say, oh, I'm not going to answer because you're not a member. It's just sometimes on their live streams, we run out of time. And just so you guys know, there is actually a 30-second delay. So sometimes we see questions after the live stream's ended.
Some people want to know the location of the store, if they can come in, store to shop.
Oh, we're online only. We are in near Austin, Texas, but we are online only. Are there any patterns on the back of the Jolly Bar and the Jolly Bar book? Remind me and I'll show all of those. There are 20 patterns in each Jolly Bar book. Throughout the book, there are photos of the blocks using Bella solids, and there is a quilt photo on the front and the back.
And then each Jolly Bar comes with a pattern.
And every Jolly Bar inside your Jolly Bar comes with a free pattern. Those patterns are exclusive to the Jolly Bar until a couple of years later when they end up being in the books. So I'll show you. We can test our knowledge. I'm going to see if I can remember the name of the fabric collection. So this is a bloom by Coriander Quilts. A Very Sweet Christmas by Ann Sutton. Layla Boutique something. It's Layla Boutique. Nantucket Summer. Let me see if we write it in here.
That was Dwell, but maybe not. No, that's...
I think. Yeah, I don't think we say. Okay. Dwell, it's Camille, Ross Kelly. This is a fig tree and a Camille. This is a Camille fabric and a Corey Yoder fabric. This is an old Camille fabric, and this is American Jane. Okay, so I'm going to answer questions, but we're going to put a poll up, and the poll is going to ask, do you want me to take these rows and cut the sashing, assemble the entire quilt, or do you want me to stop here? I will do whatever you want. We do write all of these patterns. So the patterns that you see that are free video patterns, either Nova, Kenna, or Angel write them. The books, Sarah Price writes, and not to leave Jocelyn out, she designs a lot of them. So it's like a team effort. A lot of times what we do is just say, oh, we want to make something out of this, design something. But we do write them in the Fat Quarter Shop It's So Emma style. In the videos, we try to tell you if they're beginner friendly, but this one is definitely beginner friendly. Do any of my kids quilt? No. They pull paper. One of them sees. Oh, okay, yeah. So Peyton, what are you doing in the closet?
He's not. He went downstairs.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh, I was like, he went in there. We have like a closet in here. I don't know what he's doing. All of the patterns that are on the back of the Jolly Bar book are in the book. Let me also show you, oops. Yeah, I just want to show them like how we show the inside.
The timer's also about to go up.
Oh, the timer's about to go off. So in the books, we show it in a Bella solid. Just because we don't make all 20 of the quilts again, just so you can see the layout. We don't have an app planned. OPI Cajun Shrimp is still my favorite fingernail polish. I will never open a shop because y'all think I'm like super outgoing, and I'm actually not. I only have one membership. There are no tiers. Have I used any of the other Caterpillar products? We actually reached out to them this week and asked, winner. I'll be right back with the winner. We asked them to send us different products because we drop ship those to the customer. So we asked, and so we're going to try those out and do a video on that. I imagine an FQS retreat someday. I bet it would sell out in minutes. I'll do a retreat once my kids are all out of high school. I mean, I will definitely do that because it won't be hard once they're in college. Plus, I might need to pay for their college. Who inspired me to start quilting? I've just always been very crafty. Okay, my winner is Sandra Cedar. Email Denise at fatquartershop.com to give us your mailing address. You would be surprised how many customers have the same name. So we cannot just go in and say, oh, here is your address, because we might have the wrong Sandra. Oops, I dropped that. Sorry. So sorry.
Jordan, what's the poll at?
The poll's pretty much almost 50-50, but I did see someone say at least add a sashing. Maybe if you want to just add one sashing,
Okay.
since it's so close.
Well, I'm definitely going to cut the fabric so you can see how I cut the border.
I think they want to see like border sashing. And then you can move it from shop.
He's back. I didn't know where you went. Okay, so let me see. Okay, let me go through all these questions. I've done the first three.
Next one.
I've done the next one.
This,
I've done all of those. Do I have a beginner cross stitch video for a brand new stitcher? Yes, it's called, if you go to Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube and subscribe, there is a cross stitch university series. I do write all of the patterns in the Jolly Bar book. When will the Nantucket Summer be available again? I fell in love but missed the first boat. Just go to fatquartershop.com and search it and it'll tell you the date. I don't remember. What are my plans for tomorrow for Mother's Day? I actually don't have any yet. Do I take energy vitamins? No. I need some. Do you want to send me some? Do I have to clean it with, do I have to clean it with something in particular to keep it rotating well? The mat, no. I agree with the person, a Jolly Bar club would be fun. I can look into that. It's just hard because all the good Jolly Bars come in 1 month. How tall am I? 5'8". Jolly Bar Day was Jordan's idea. Fantastic. He's creating he's made himself work today. How old is Piggy? He's almost 9. When will Designer Mystery be sent out? Probably soon. Should be this week or next week. This is a good question. What does the Andover Crisp do in comparison to the Faultless Starch? I don't know what Andover Crisp is. Okay, so let's talk about starch. There are different starches out there. Some people like to use the liquid starch. You put it in like a tub and dip it. That's a lot easier. I just find that it's not as crisp as the starch that I use. There is a new Adita starch. I'm not sure if it's a starch. It's called Fabric Spray. We got it in last week. I have not tried it. Tell me my latest true crime binge. Oh, I have a good one. Hulu, chicken, fried crime. It is the craziest, hillbilly, hilarious story that is so awesome. I laughed the entire time. I was watching it with my headphones on at work. I had to call Priscilla and Lori, and I was like, y'all gotta watch this. You gotta subscribe to Hulu. It is hilarious. Where can I buy bulk starch? I would just Google that. How do I join Kimberly's squad? So on Facebook, we have a group called Kimberly Stitch Squad. You just go in there and answer the question. Are there any tips for sewing a line of the rectangles to keep them straight? I use that foot that has the edge on it, so my fabric just butts up to it. Some of the patterns in the Jolly Bar books use 1 Jolly Bar and some that use 2. I think there might be 1 or 2 that use 3, but very rare. Okay, so let's talk about the background. Okay, and just to show you guys, these are the Jolly Bar that I didn't use. And you'll notice I am not a fan of too much light. So I didn't use these. And these were all duplicates within these 2. These were purple. Now I keep these. I keep a stack of these. Sometimes if I love the collection, I'll take it home. Like I will take this piece home because I save any white on white I can at all times. And then sometimes we use them as giveaways, or sometimes we keep a big stack. And when we make our new foundation paper, we have stacks of fabric that are already starched that we can test blocks on. So we don't throw it away. Okay, so here's my background. The first thing I'm gonna do is iron it. I wanna get any of these creases that are horizontal or rectangle or vertical out. My key to you, or my advice to you, is when you are starching yardage, do it this 1 layer at a time instead of 2 layers at a time. And I leave room behind my ironing board at home. Like this one I have a lot of room, but at home it's against the wall. I leave about 1 inch or 2 over here so that I can do this and it goes to the back. I used to not do that and my fabric would kind of scrunch up and that's never good. Now this is your fold, I'm not ironing there because I am going to have to open that up and I don't want to crease. Now that what I'm going to do is fold it in 2 and iron it again on both sides. Starching does shrink your fabric about half an inch on one side, but if you use steam and you do not starch, your block will shrink as you are making it. Will there be a list of winners in case they missed the announcement? Yes, Denise says yes. For the Juki foot, I would call Juki Junkies. They know what foot I use. They know all of the machines I use so that if somebody, because we needed somewhere for people to call because we don't sell that and I'm not very knowledgeable about that. The cutting mat I use at home is Lori Holt's pink one. Because everything at my house has to be cute. That's like a rule. What?
That's why you never have me over.
Oh my gosh. I said everything at my house has to be cute, and Jordan said that's why I never have you over. Oh my gosh. Your jokes. I watched a podcast this week. Okay, I'm not going to tell y'all which one it is because it's totally inappropriate. And it's so funny because it was like a rapper interviewing a DJ. No, it was a rapper / DJ interviewing a comedian, trying to tell jokes, and the comedian was like, leave the jokes to me. You are not funny. Do I have tattoos? No, I do not. I am too scared. Like there is no way anybody is touching me with a needle. Okay, so I'm gonna circle this. For my sashing, I need 3 2.5 by 30.5 inch strips. For D, I need 2.5 by 34.5. And for E, so I don't have to piece it together, I need this. They're all 2.5. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need 7 2.5 strips.
The next amount is $60, and after the stream, all the winners will be posted in the description box in case you missed it.
Jordan and Denise have tattoos. You can look at their tattoos. They have a lot of tattoos. I'm a big old weenie. There is no chance. Nobody's touching me. Okay, so when I am cutting a border, I'm gonna use, this is an 8.5 inch wide ruler. I know I'm only cutting at 2.5 inch strips. 8.5 will hold your fabric better than a 6.5. So when I'm cutting borders, I generally use the 8.5 by 24.5 inch ruler. And what I'm gonna do is turn my fabric this way. Here's my fold. And I usually do it this way at home, even at home, because it's on an angle. So I'm not cutting this way or this way, I have more room. So I'm going to, on this fold, with this 8.5 inch ruler, put the fold right here. Also, with 8.5 versus 6.5, you have more accuracy because you have that line that goes all the way across. Cut. Let's see, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 divided by 2 is 4. That's how many I think I need. And they're 2.5 each. So because they're 2.5 each, I'm going to do 7.5, 5, and 2.5. I'm actually going to cut this 2.5. Now, I have a lot left over, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those new fabric labels that we have at Fat Quarter Shop. There's a little box that says starched or not starched. I'm going to check the box that says starched. Fabric labels, it's okay. And then I'm going to put that on there. I'll show you what I'm going to do. They're just on the other side of the room. So we have these new labels. Nah. And then it's Bella 9900-200. I'm not going to fill all that out. And it's starched. I never pre-wash. Now what I'm going to do with this, when I go home, I've got that bolt. I'm going to wrap it around the bolt where this is sticking out, pin it. It's already starched. I know it's starched. This is not wasted. It's just used on another project. Okay, so let me move this and then keep cutting so I know what I'm doing. Did Jordan and Denise meet at Fat Quarter Shop? Yeah, I'm the matchmaker. That would be me. Oh my gosh, my hairdresser, she was like, are those people still together? I was like, girl, they're married. I only go like every 6 months. What are the quilts on the ladders? Okay, we'll do that at the end. Okay. Okay, so these are my borders. I'm not going to trim them down to these sizes. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So, first thing I'm going to do, zoom out a little bit, Jordan. The first thing I'm going to do before anything is I'm going to lay out, and I would do this, if I was at home, I'd do it on the floor, but I don't think you want to see the floor right now because it's got fabric all over it. So I'm going to lay them out, and I can move my alpha bitties. And my goal of laying these out is just, I'm really just going to be paying attention to the edges to make sure I don't have anything that's too much duplicated or too much color on one side. Also, you're flipping the, I think I have it flipped the wrong way. Yeah, I do. Well, that's okay. I'll just, yeah, I gotta flip them. So you're supposed to have a fat, a skinny, it really doesn't matter. A fat, but I'll try to follow the rules for you guys. And a skinny. And there, it looks like there's gonna be a lot of peach on the side. I think it's fine. So, between here and here and here, I'm gonna show you how to attach those three. I'm actually gonna label these so that when I go home, they're in order. Unless y'all want me to finish it. Okay. Okay, between these two, that strip needs to be 30.5 inches. So I'm gonna take one strip, I'm gonna go iron this right here. I'm gonna measure using my mat. It's the only time I use my mat for measuring. And I'm gonna just put a pin at the 30.5 and the 0. So it looks like this. I can chop this off. Okay, so then this is my row 4. I'm gonna place this. Well, I'm actually gonna find the center. You don't have to do it on a quilt this small. I'm just doing it for fun. I mean, what the heck? Now I'm gonna, there's a seam right in the center, so that makes it easy. I'm gonna pin on both sides. Now, the big thing here that I do is I always sew with this background on top. I believe that is opposite of what most people do. I think it goes faster, and I've just always done it that way. And I leave the seams on the bottom. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the machine. I'm gonna start sewing over here. Once I get onto that peach fabric, I'm gonna backstitch, go all the way down, go off, come back, and then backstitch on it. Most people do not backstitch, but I do. When I do sashing and borders, I most of the time do that because that is where most of the use of the quilt is, and it just does it secures it a little bit. But that is something that I do that most people do not do. And as I'm guiding it through, I can kind of just with my hands feel and see if my seams are going the right way. The labels stay on the fabric. They do not leave a residue. We went through about, I don't know, a lot that we're pulling. We went through a lot of samples and we made sure it did not pull off any of your fabric colors. So it should be nice and flat on the back. Now this is gonna probably seem weird to you. So here, I'm just making sure I've got a skinny and a fat. I'm gonna put this right here. I'm not gonna trim the white, but look at the difference in there. A 1/4 inch difference, see that? So I'm gonna pin this here, and I'm gonna pin about 3 times close to this to keep it secure. Then I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm gonna pull this down. Now obviously if I sewed correctly, this would not be happening, but, and I'm gonna pin 3 times here to keep it like in place. Like get this kind of the end secure. Then I'm gonna flip it over because I always sew with this on top and I wanna ease it in. The easiest way to do it is to do this. Pull it up. Oh, I could have done middle. Well, I didn't. That would have helped. And I'm just gonna pin and just ease it in with your fingers. And then I'm gonna do that same thing. Especially when you've got a border or something, you really want to get that flat before you put the iron on it. Winner, winner. From here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to just line up the line on the ruler and just chop off the ends. And then I would just keep going. Like I would add the next, well actually what I would do is I would sew these two together the same way with that white in the center. Then I would add white to one end and add it. I would add the borders the same exact way. Now for my rulers, this is how I store them. And I have two of these.
Front cam, please.
So this is how I store like the 8.5 to the 1.5. And then I have another one that I do like a couple of the rectangle ones like this. But my big ones, I lay them flat in a drawer because, and I never, I do it here, but I shouldn't. Don't ever store your rulers up and down like this because they warp and they become distorted. So I would say either flat or like this. And this is just a ruler rack that we had made. It says Fat Quarter Shop on it. It's aqua, it's cute. And that's what we use. But at home I have two of these. Here I have one. Our winner is Kathy Hutchins for a $60 gift certificate.
Are you done?
I don't know, ask Jordan.
What?
Is she done?
Yeah, we showed them the section, right?
Yeah.
Orders? Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
Okay. And then Kathy emailed Denise at fatquartershop.com with your mailing address.
Do we sell batting by the yard or just pre-rolls and pre-packaged?
So for batting, we sell it all the ways. So one thing that we did do recently, because Joann's closed, is we have added more batting. So we sell all the types of batting, all the sizes, all the way from like table runner to king, and then we sell the big rolls. And we sell the 100% cotton, the bamboo, the wool, the poly, the all of it. So we sell all of it. For back stitching, I just do that when I'm at the beginning and ending of a row for a sashing or a border.
Can you tell people we're just randomly picking people in chat for this contest?
Oh, for the contest, we're using a random generator thing that picks people, and you have to comment at least once every 10 minutes to when we started the thingy for the next one. This is just like a little lap quilt or wall hanging, either one. My preferred batting, I always use 80/20. I think that bamboo is much more popular now. If I look at sales from Fat Quarter Shop, we sell much more bamboo than 80/20. But I guess because I'm a creature of habit, I just never changed. Will I hand quilt or machine quilt? I will send it to a quilter. When I starch, I spray all the way through the fabric. I have a video coming up soon at the beginning of Moda Blockheads that will show you how I starch all of my fabrics for that sew along, and it will show you, but I saturate it so it's front and back. My favorite pattern for using my scraps is Bitty Brick House, the Log Cabin Papers, the Woven Star. I know, I'm trying to think of it. Scrappy Strings. Oh, and I'm so excited. Lori has Scrappy Strings paper coming out. So I got to make another one. That'll be like my 4th one. And then there's one other. Huh? 25 patch. The quilts on the ladders. Okay, this quilt right here.
That is the pattern that's in the Jolly Bar for summertime.
What book?
No, like it's.
Oh, this, okay, if you buy the Summertime Jolly Bar by Camille, this is the pattern that comes in it. So it will be in a book in like 2 years. This is the Jolly Bar jig using Summertime, the pattern we did today using just a different collection. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. Okay, so I do want to mention our sales for the month. So this month, and it's a great time to stock up, 20% off Bella Solids. If you have seen, a lot of fabric prices are increasing, and those will be going into effect anywhere from like now to the end of the year. Each company treats it differently. So 20% off Bella Solids for the month of May 2025. And 25% off Olfa Notions. Now for Olfa, I've ordered a ton. If it sells out, we reorder it and it should come back in stock in 4 to 5 days. And then now we're going to do a Jolly Bar 5 quilt tour. So the Jolly Bar 5 book has 20 quilts. We got with 8 different designers. I'm gonna flip through the book just so you can kind of see. We picked 8 different designers, and then they picked the quilt they wanted to make, and they picked the fabric they wanted to make. And so I'm going to get to tell you the name of the quilt, the fabric, and the designer, and what they were able to pick. And one thing I want you to think about is they used all different types of backgrounds. So just because we have it in white doesn't mean it has to be on white. Just because we used a Jolly Bar, you could use a layer cake. You can make this work if you are flexible. Okay, so the very first one, you have to cover. Okay, wait, you have to come over here. My son's holding it, sorry. He's tall. He's much taller. Oh, that's so good. It's so much better. Okay, so this is the Blueberry Pie quilt from the Jolly Bar 5 book. Wendy Shepherd of Ivory Spring is making this. The fabric is Nantucket Summer by Camille Ross Kelly. She used a Jolly Bar. She used the color 200 of Bella. The blocks are made with blue. She added green in the binding just to add a pop of color. So that fabric collection has blue and greens. What she did is just use blues on the blocks, greens in the binding. And then it's quilted by Darlene of Graceful Quilting. And then if you go to the top camera, I'll show you her backing. My son doesn't want to let go of the quilt. Okay, this is the backing. Oh, he didn't know what I was doing. Okay, so this is the backing of the quilt.
Yep.
And the front. And this is, I'm not sure if this is from the collection or not. This is a Bella Solid. The The next quilt is the Bright Star Quilt by the Michelle Smith of the Patchwork Loft. This is the Folk and Lore collection by Fancy That Design House. She did use a Jolly Bar. She used thatched, and I'll show it to you up close. The color she used is 48-626-36. She used a navy binding, and I really like the quilting on this one, so I will show it to you. I'll show you the quilt now with the backing. My son is 6'1", so he's actually great because he's much taller than Denise, which is saying a lot because Denise is pretty tall. So this one, you can see the backing and you can see the straight line quilting that she did. And it is spaced out about every inch. So it looks like she probably did this on her home machine, and she did, the stitches are pretty long, and that gives it kind of an antique look. The next quilt, okay, go the lower because you're too tall. Okay, right there. So the next quilt is called Brookside. This is by Gina Tell of Thread Graffiti, and she made it, she long arm quilted it. This is the Raspberry Summer collection by Sherry and Chelsea, and I will now show you the front and the back. You might have seen that on her social media channel. You can follow her at threadgraffiti.com. And so this one, the pantograph is like a triangle, and then she picked this for her backing. And just on all of these, they were able to pick the fabric they wanted to use, and you know, this is so you could see what other people would do. And then she put in, it says handmade by Gina Tell, Thread Graffiti. This is the Holiday Greetings quilt by Haley Schober. This is Mistletoe Quilting Company. This fabric is the Love Blooms Jolly Bar by Layla Boutique. The background is Bella Solid 9900-145, and it was quilted by her on her home sewing machine. So I'll show you the backing. And there's some cute stuff on the quilting. So right here, she did her home sewing machine. These are 1/2 inch apart, and she has hearts throughout. So I'm not sure if she used a template, drew that, and then just stitched on it. I'm not sure, but I'll show you the front and the back of this one. This is cute. And I don't think this fabric is from that collection, so it might have been from her stash. So this is, you can see the quilting and the, gosh, it's hard to see the hearts. Yeah, that's really cute. Okay, this one is the Just Peachy quilt. I think this is the one that's on the cover of the quilt, cover of the book. This fabric is a Bloom by Corey Yoder. She took out, in this collection, there's some really dark corals, so she put the dark corals as the center of each block and then left the other fabrics around it. And the background she used is the white on white from a Bloom. It's 29211-31. She also quilted her own quilt. Top. So this is the front, and it's got a feather quilting. And then the back, this is, I believe this is a thatched fabric. This is the Lollygag quilt. It was made by Tanya Kelvington of Carried Away Quilting. The fabric is Honey Bloom by Three Sisters. The background is 9900-98. It was quilted by Katie of Woods Edge Quilting. Okay, I'll show you. The quilting has, I really like the quilting on this. It's like a feather, but it's like a feather within like a flower. So like each little piece, but I really like this pantograph. So it's a feather, but also a flower. And then the back is a Bella Solid Stone. Okay, this one is Somersaults Quilts by Susan of the Felted Pear. This one is the Summertime Collection by Camille. This is the white on white that is from the collection, which is 55322-21. The backing is from an older collection of Camille's called Happy Go Lucky that was from years ago, and Susan of the Felted Pear quilted it herself. So now I will show it to you on the table. And so this looks like a floral with a leaf. And then I wonder if you guys remember this fabric. This is, I think this quilt, this is probably like 5 or 6 years old, but I love how the yellow ties in. Now this is the one this is kind of what I was talking about with using a dark background and changing it up. This is the Timberland Roses quilt. Melanie Call of A Bit of Scrap Stuff made it. The fabric is Berry and Pine by Layla Boutique. The background is from the collection. It's like a dark green. It looks like tire prints. It is 5246-13. When she made this quilt, she used a layer cake, and then she used the leftover fabric to make a fun piece backing, and she quilted it herself. So we will show it to you on the table. Okay, so you can see this looks like a little tire print. And then I'm going to show you the piece backing. Do you want to zoom out a little bit, Jordan, and see? Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, see how good that looks? This binding really pops against the background. And then the backing, let's see. Oh, you want to hold it for a second, Peyton? Hold on, he's going to hide. Give him a second to hide. Hold the backing because it's hard. I don't think you're going to see it on the thing. So she used a layer cake, and then these are the leftovers, and then I'll show you this up close real quick. Okay, thank you, Peyton. So up close, what she did, let's see. I don't know if this is a Sweetwater label or not, but she put it on top. So however she made it, she took it. I don't know if she used a fusible or not, but she used a blanket stitch around it and put that on there before it was quilted. So that's really cute if you have a blanket stitch. My machine doesn't have a blanket stitch. Okay, so now I'm really excited because we get to announce the Jolly Bar 5 sampler. So when we give you when we make a book, we want you to get the most out of the book. So we don't want you to buy a book and make one quilt. We want you to get a lot out of it. So that book has 20 quilts plus this. So this is 21. Sorry, I'm kind of out of breath. This is the Jolly Bar 5 sampler quilt along. We are going to start this in August. It's only May. So you have a ton of time to buy your fabrics and get prepared. We decided we're going to start releasing fabric requirements earlier due to requests on social media. So I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be doing. This is the Gentler Times collection. It's by Lori Holt. It does not release until July. But if you want to make this in August and you want to use that 25% off, you can buy your supplies today. What you need is 2 Jolly Bars, 5.5 yards background, 7/8 yards binding, and 7.25 yards backing, and obviously you need the book. Now you can find these fabric requirements. Are these on the blog yet? Not yet, because we wanted to announce them on Jolly Bar Day. So you can just kind of come back and see that. We did give you the release date, so you have that. And I always encourage you when we do a quilt along, use whatever fabric you like. And by us giving you this early, you can buy your Jolly Bars at 20%, at 25% off. And if you pick a background from Bella, you can get 20% off today.
That is a free, it's on our site though, that whole
Oh, yeah, this is on the Fat Quarter Shop website. It's just not on a blog post yet because it's a little bit early to do a blog post for something we're doing in August. Okay, and then I wanted to show you something else that's really fun and new, and it's been well received, which I'm super grateful for. So each year, since we have started our Sew Sampler box, which has been going for, is it 9 years? We give these little postcards in the box, and they're just cute little patterns to make a block, and you can make a quilt at the end of the year. So we have a kit to make this if you want to make that. But if you don't want to use the kit, we have released the flowering quilt along fabric requirements this week. In this handbook, in this handout, we give you fabric requirements, and we give you exactly what's in the kit on this first page. But basically, you can pick whatever fabric you want. We're just showing you so that as you get your cards, you can look at the difference for how you switch it out, how you want to switch it out. The patterns for each block are in the Sew Sampler box. The pattern for this one was in the April 2025 box. The next one will be in the May 2025 box. And there will be 12. And then the very last month, you will receive the finishing pattern. And we do sell those patterns separately after the Sew Sampler box has been out like a month or so. But I wanted to show you, we've given you some different color layouts. So we have done this. Now, we don't have the full quilt to show you. We're just showing you what you would buy. This is the A Bloom collection by Corey Yoder. This is Aunt Grace Goes Scrappy by Judy Rothermel for Marcus Brothers Fabrics. Gentler Times by Lori Holt. Agatha Road by Fig Tree for Moda Fabrics. True Colors by Tula Pink for Free Spirit. And Pumpkin Spice Gatherings by Primitive Gatherings. So we have these different ones. So if you want to use your stash, you could maybe print this out and kind of look at how we divided our fabrics just to see in case you're not interested in the kit. If you're interested in the kit includes the Summertime Fabric by Camille Ross Kelly, and each of the cards you get each month will match exactly what's in the box. So that gives you lots of options. And then I wanted to let you know we have 4 holiday boxes a year. We launched the Liberty box. This pre-sales this week. We are about 80% sold out as of this morning. So this will be shipping in June 2025. And the quilt pattern inside that comes with the box it does fit the size requirements for Quilts of Valor. And we will also be, as a company, donating $5,000 to Quilts of Valor Foundation. And that is part of our Liberty box. Our winner now, the next winner is Robin Crawford. I'm gonna sign that. If you have any questions, drop them in real quick. And Robin, I want you to email Denise at fatquartershop.com with your mailing address. And you won $70. The printout I just gave you, I need back. Sorry.
For the sampler?
Yeah. I already see a question on it. Okay, the size, I forgot to mention, the size of this is 76 inches square. And like I said, the picture we put on the front of this is always what I end up sewing with. So that's what I picked to sew with. Can we starch the Jolly Bar for the sampler? Probably not. Probably not because, yeah, probably not. Because of that, I will be buying layer cakes to make mine. When does the flag sew along start?
It started yesterday,
May 9th, which was yesterday, and that's the Scrappy Americana flag. Is my reel up yet, do you think, of my blocks?
Yes, it went up. It went on social media yesterday, and then it's going out on YouTube today.
Okay, so y'all will start seeing the little reels that I did of it, and it's really cute. It's gonna be really fun. What's my oldest quilt in my collection? I have a quilt from my grandmother. Do you want to grab it? It's right there. It's the bottom rung.
Right here?
Yep. Oh, you're gonna go front camera. So it's the oldest quilt I have is from my grandmother. Doesn't have, I don't know who made it. I hope I do a Jolly Bar Day every year. We are. Yes. So this is the oldest quilt that I personally have. And this was given to me when my grandmother passed away. And I always wanted to do a pattern of it. But since I don't love, I don't know, it's like so much math. I don't know. But it hangs at work. You can tell it's made with muslin. And it's hand quilted. You can see the knots. And it's got stains, and it's one of the quilts. A lot of the older quilts that you see in antique stores, they pull the binding from the backing from the back to the front, and that's what this one is. So this is the oldest one I have. I would say it's probably 1950s, 1960s. It's not like super old. But even this is hand quilted. You can see the stitching. I don't think my grandmother made this. I think it was probably her mother or her grandmother. When is the Moda reveal coming? If you are talking about Moda blockheads, that is May 21st, I believe. The quilts I'm showing are from the Jolly Bar Book 5, yes. Is there a Jolly Bar pattern that does fussy cutting? No, because, no. That would kind of like, it would be really hard to know that in that little piece of fabric you would get that exact thing. Where did I get the quilt ladders? We have had those for years. Those, we got them at a local furniture store called Furniture Row. Okay, so I want to wish all of you a happy Mother's Day. And I want to show you 2 recent photos of my kids. Okay. Peyton, okay, the only one, okay, so this is last weekend. This is Emma and her prom. And this is, I took this photo and I sent it to Lori, and she was like, did you see what's on the TV? And I was like, oh my God, it says crime and murder. That was not planned. This was at somebody's house, somebody random, I don't know. And then the next photo is last Sunday. Christopher and Emma, he is so tall. Peyton is not in the photo. He's here, but he did not go to the game, so he did not get in the photo. So those are the 2 photos I have to show you. Those are just recent photos. I don't prefer any of my kids over the others. Yeah. But yes, I hope all of you have a happy Mother's Day. Jordan's going to pop up that Jolly Bar code again so that you guys have it. It's 25% off Jolly Bars today and tomorrow. Remember, Bella Solids are on sale through the end of June. And May. We're not in June, May. I keep thinking, oh my gosh, because my daughter's going to go to college. I'm so sad. Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys very soon.